UFC Fight Night Vegas 34, Cannonier versus Gastelum just took place, and I'm going to go through the entire card, starting with the early prelims, ending with the main event, giving my reaction and breakdown to every single fight on the card, and my overall event recap, because this was an amazing event overall, starting with the early prelim opener of Sasha Palitnikov versus Ramiz Brahimaj. I picked Sasha Palitnikov to win. I actually did terribly on predictions this card. I think I went evens, 6-6, but either way, Ramiz Brahimaj gets the win in the opener of the card against Sasha Palitnikov. Just too much on the ground for him, eventually getting a rear naked choke. There was moments where Sasha Palitnikov showed that he could escape the ground engagement, got back to his feet a couple of times, got himself back to a safer position, but then at one moment he jumped for an armbar from on top. Like, he had the body weight advantage. He was over the top of Ramiz Brahimaj, but he jumped for an armbar. He could have got it, who knows, but Ramiz Brahimaj defended well, ended up on top, and eventually took over for a rear naked choke. One thing I will say, even though it was a good win by Ramiz Brahimaj, the toughness of Sasha Palitnikov to not tap in that rear naked choke for how long he didn't tap for. I know he eventually did tap, or he went out cold, whatever it was in the end. I think he went out cold. To not tap for that long in a rear naked choke when it was so in, and he is just gutting it out. You can see it on his face. He's literally just trying to strain his neck against a rear naked choke, and he even escaped it a couple of times. Well done to Sasha Palitnikov. However, Ramiz Brahimaj gets the job done. First round submission. Very good win by him. Moving on up the card, Roosevelt Roberts versus Ignacio Bahamondes. I picked Roosevelt Roberts to win. Ignacio Bahamondes was just too good, too strong. I thought Roosevelt was going to be able to mix in some takedowns. He tried to. He actually had some takedowns in at certain moments in the fights, but he was just not strong enough to get Ignacio Bahamondes to the ground. Ignacio Bahamondes is a huge lightweight, and what an amazing KO. Let's just get straight to that. Why am I even talking about what Roosevelt Roberts didn't do correctly? Because I picked him, and I'm being biased towards my pick. Either way, Ignacio Bahamondes looked good. He was patient. He worked the body in the later rounds very well. Went to the body quite a bit. You could see he hurt Roosevelt Roberts to the body quite a bit in the fight. I thought he was even going to get a finish to the body shots at one point in the third round. Really badly hurting Roosevelt. And the failed takedowns of Roosevelt as well was just adding up to a cumulative lack of cardio in the later rounds. Ignacio's on hunting mode, going after Roosevelt Roberts. I thought it was just going to be a decision loss. Then out of fucking nowhere, he perfectly wheel kicks Roosevelt Roberts straight on the jaw and lays him out cold. Wheel kick KO, literally 5 seconds left, when he doesn't even need to. He has won the fight against Roosevelt Roberts. He doesn't even need a finish, let alone a wheel kick KO. He goes for it, he gets it. Definitely going to get a performance bonus there. Amazing win by Ignacio Bahamondes. Someone to watch out for in the lightweight division. Definitely made some improvements from his last fight against John McDessie. Moving on up the card, William Knight versus Fabio Cherant. I picked William Knight to win by TKO. I thought it would happen later on in the fight, but let me tell you, man, I was looking like I was going to be wrong. Fabio Cherant was doing real good out there, man. Landing big shots to the body on William Knight. Don't get me wrong, William Knight was landing some good leg kicks before the fight was over at the end of the first round, but Fabio Cherant landing good body shots, taking away the outside, stepping to the outside of the lead foot of William Knight to take away that leg kick, landing good shots to the body. Then he started coming over the top and landing big shots on the chin. I thought he was about to finish William Knight. Then William Knight literally hits him with the most feminine punch I've ever seen in my life. Literally fucking just slaps his arm across, hits him with the wrist, and down goes Fabio Cherant, covering up, getting TKO'd. William Knight gets a first round TKO against Fabio Cherant. It's so weird to see that kind of power. Trust me, I know, I'm looking at him, I can tell he might have some power. I understand. He also has gyno, by the way. Thought I'd mention that. I picked him to win, but he did have gyno. Everyone in the UFC seems to have gyno nowadays. Fabio Cherant gets put down in the first round. Questionable chin. Ridiculous power. You choose which one it is. Great win by William Knight. Moving on up the card, Malecki versus Josiane Nunes. I picked Malecki to win. I knew she was literally two weight divisions above Josiane Nunes. I saw that in the cage. She was literally 2 weight divisions above. She has the same reach as Conor McGregor, 74-inch reach at 5'8". I mean, she's got a longer reach than Paulo Costa. And we're women's bantamweight here. Josiane Nunes goes out there, gets a scrap on and gets a first round TKO. Just catches Malecki basically asking to be KO'd at the end of that fight. Walking into punches with no head movement whatsoever. 6 seconds left in the round. Josiane Nunes catches her with a big right hand straight on the chin. Puts her out cold in the women's bantamweight division. And Josiane Nunes is someone to watch out for because she has a lot of KOs. A lot of first round KOs in her record. And she was landing some good shots before that as well. But Malecki was landing some good shots to the body. Some good knees, some good body kicks, some good leg kicks. But Josiane Nunes kept on the pace, got the KO at the end of the first round. Great win by her. I'm 1-3 so far. Let's pick it back up with Brian Kelleher versus Domingo Pilarte. I said that Kelleher would win this one by guillotine after rocking Domingo Pilarte on the feet, but he didn't even need any of that. At one point, he did go for the guillotine, and I was very sweaty thinking I was going to be correct. But Kelleher just schooled him on the ground, man. Domingo Pilarte has nothing. He has nothing. I thought it before the fight. I thought it now afterwards as well. Domingo Pilarte, what's his strength? You know what I mean? It's not even about like what he's doing wrong. Like, what do you do good out there? Like, he's a massive weight bully. I'm starting to think that's his only attribute. He's bigger than everyone by about 10-15 pounds. That's literally it. Got out grappled by Brian Kelleher. Great wrestling shown by Kelleher. Great improvement shown in his grappling as well. Went out there, took full guard, and just kept landing total strikes. Domingo had nothing off of his back whatsoever. So Brian Kelleher thought, you know what? I'm just going to stay here, land total strikes, get myself a win. Landed some big shots here and there in certain rounds. I mean, 236 to 117 on total strikes. And Domingo Pilarte, I want to say about 90% of them were slaps to the ears from on bottom. So, yeah, Brian Kelleher. Clean, easy win. Schooled him, got his paycheck, called out Sean O'Malley afterwards, but for November. Stupid call out. O'Malley's not fighting in November, he's fighting in December. Either way, sign me up for Kelleher O'Malley in December. That'd be good. Moving on up the card. Austin Lingo versus Luis Saldana. I agree with this decision. I thought it was very, very close. But that's how it goes in close fights. I thought Austin Lingo was the aggressor all the time, landing good shots that looked like they may have rocked Ignacio Bahamondes at certain points. But man, I will say this. I picked Austin Lingo to win as an underdog. I was not impressed by his win. In any way, I wasn't impressed by his win. It is so sloppy looking out there. Like, they looked really bad out there past the first round. He had a one-legged opponent, Luis Saldana, who's a kicker majority of the time. He has broken his foot out there. Okay? Broken his foot. He's a kicker. And Austin Lingo is just throwing haymaker after haymaker. Like, not trying to set things up. You could have grabbed the opposite single leg and made him bounce on that broken foot, eventually losing balance, getting on top of him. I don't know why he didn't go for any takedowns in that fight, but you know what? Austin Lingo went out there, pushed the pace, won the fight in the last 2 rounds, in my opinion. I'll just check the stats right now. Lingo got a knockdown at one point as well in one of the rounds. Looked like he hurt Saldana quite badly, but yeah, good win by Austin Lingo. Great stuff. Saldana, I thought, won the first, but Lingo got the second too. Good round, though. I can see him going either way. But it was a close fight, but I gave it to Austin Lingo. Thought he landed the better shots. In the later rounds, he was landing a lot of good headshots. And Luis Saldana couldn't move anymore, so he was just bending over. Not a good look to the judges. He loses that fight. Not good for Saldana. He arguably lost his last one as well, so he could be 0-2 right now. Either way, moving on up the card, I went 3-3 on the prelims. Alexandre Pantoja versus Brandon Royval. I picked Pantoja to win by second round rear naked choke over Brandon Royval after a crazy first round. Dunsky. Easy win. Picked Pantoja to do it. Royval was looking good though. In all honesty, the odds were correct at the end of the first round. It was a crazy first round. Both guys landed good shots. I gave it to Pantoja. He had good positional control. He was landing big right hands on the chin of Brandon Royval. But Royval was keeping it on him. Keeping the pressure there. Putting some good volume out there as well. Landing some good shots here and there. Close first round. Gave it to Pantoja on the bigger shots. But round 2... Royval starts landing the better shots, starts landing some good ones, but Royval is like a Sandhagen a little bit, in my opinion. Sandhagen's very good when he sticks to basic fundamental shit and wins fights by doing that. When he's spinning around all over the place, giving up his back, he's a problem. He's in danger. Royval, if he sticks to basics, could be a real flyweight contender and beat a lot of these guys based on pacing and cardio. But he doesn't. He spins around. He gave up his back. He got taken down because of it. Got the hook sunk in. And Pantoja latched up the rear naked choke at the end of round 2. What more can you say? He called out the champion Brandon Moreno. I still think it's kind of criminal that they're ignoring Askar Askarov. I get that he missed weight, but still, he's beaten Pantoja. He went to a draw with Brandon Moreno. I know that Pantoja beat Brandon Moreno, but either way, Askar Askarov's right there with a win over Pantoja, and they're ignoring him. I get he missed weight, but Figueiredo missed weight and gave him another title shot. Either way, Pantoja, good win, called out the champ. I'm down to see it next, so long as we get another championship fight in December. Moving on up the card, Vinc Pichel versus Austin Hubbard. Great scrap, really great scrap back and forth. Vinc Pichel, 10 years older, still got the grind out there against Austin Hubbard. Hubbard got a couple of takedowns, but he wasn't really able to establish too much damage from those takedowns or control time. Landed some good shots on the feet, but Vinc Pichel got it done, man. It was based on the later rounds of the fight, which is crazy to say because usually when a guy is 39 years of age or however old Vinc Pichel is and a decade older than his adversary, the younger guy is going to have more in the tank in the later rounds, but not in this case, not whatsoever. Vinc Pichel is a different kind of savage and went out there and put it on when he needed to. Round 1 was very close. I could even see it going Pichel's way, but I thought, you know what, Hubbard got a takedown. This can go to Austin Hubbard, who knows. Round 2, clear Vinc Pichel. Round 3, clear Vinc Pichel. Great movement, great energy, great scrap when he needed to. At the end of the 3rd round, he was pushing for it as well, just to make sure that he won. I like Vinc Pichel. He got another win. That's 3 in a row for an old-time veteran in Vinc Pichel. Still doing it since Tough, where he was fighting guys like Michael Chiesa, Ally Quinta, called out Gregor Gillespie, or whoever he called out. I have no idea. I think he called out Gregor. A lot of people called out Gregor this card, but either way, I think he might have done. I don't think he wins, but that'd be a good scrap. Moving on up the card, Trevin Jones versus Sadyokub Kakramanov. That was a great pronunciation. Trevin Jones, I picked to win this one by TKO. He didn't. He lost by guillotine in the 3rd round, and it was a shit performance. Let's be real. From Trevin Jones, it was a shit performance. What are we watching out there, dude? You literally had nothing on the feet. You weren't throwing anything with conviction. You looked like you knew you were going to lose, kind of, in my opinion, from Trevin Jones. Holding him against a cage, could have maybe done something there, but just chose not to do anything and lost the 1st round because of it. Got really badly hurt in the 1st round. Dropped at one moment in the fight. Really badly rocked in the 2nd round and beaten up a little bit. Got down Sadyokub in the 2nd at the end of it. Landed some good ground and pound shots. Round 3 was going Sadyokub's way. Gets to guillotine in round 3. A guy on 4 days' notice outgrinds, out-hustles, and outworks and out-finishes in the 3rd round a guy who's had an 8-week training camp. MMA makes no sense, but Sadyokub Kakramanov is a good fighter, I guess. We'll see how he looks on full camp. I'm looking forward to seeing his next part of his career. He's a younger guy as well, so this is actually better for the UFC that he win. Uzbekistan doesn't really have too many guys in the UFC, so maybe he'll open the door to a lot of Uzbekistanis. Yeah, he looked good, man. And I think he's 25. He is 25 years of age. Good to see him in the UFC. Good win over a good opponent, Trevin Jones. Trevin Jones beat Timo Valiev, even though he got whooped. Beat him. Good win from Sadyokub. Moving on up the card, Parker Porter versus Chase Sherman. I went with Chase Sherman because I have a brain and eyes, and I know what titties are. And Parker Porter, he won. He just scrapped up Chase Sherman and beat him up over 3 rounds. I mean, it was a great fight. I don't know who won fight of the night, in all honesty, but I assume that it was most likely this one. Actually, let me check. What was the co-main? I assumed that this was the fight of the night. Parker Porter versus Chase Sherman. I mean, it was war back and forth the entire time. It was a great scrap. It was a really, really great scrap. But yeah. I'm going to go with... Well, I don't know what I'm going to go with. I'm not predicting fights. Parker Porter just had better head movement. Sherman keeps his head in a straight fucking line, just staring at Parker Porter as he's swinging these blows. I thought Sherman should have used maybe some more leg kicks, but no. Parker Porter was able to take him down at the end of the 1st round, secured a 1st round for himself that way based on catching a kick. And then the 2nd round came around and Porter just had more in the tank, more work rate, landed better shots. Porter gets the job done. Really great fight, though. I think this was definitely fight of the night. Really great fun. Porter gets a win. We've got to watch Parker Porter again. UFC heavyweight division. Skilled. Moving on up the card. Clay Guida versus Mark Madsen. Now, I actually went with Mark Madsen here by decision. I know a lot of people were picking Clay Guida. I didn't pick Clay Guida. I picked Mark Madsen by pretty clear decision. 2-1 or maybe even 3-0. Maybe that's controversial. But I thought he definitely won the 1st round. Don't get me wrong, he got caught with a punch and went to clinch Clay Guida afterwards. Maybe showing a sign that he was hurt by that punch and got slumped a little bit by it. Who knows? but it wasn't a knockdown, and he really clearly outlanded Clay Guida in the first round, 32-15. Guida was throwing a lot, but I was watching it. They were all missing, all bouncing off shoulders, all bouncing off gloves. I thought this was 3-0 Mark Madsen, but I could see an argument for Guida because of how much he was throwing. But if you watch at what's really landing, Madsen was landing all of the cleaner shots throughout the entire fight. Good knees in the clinch, amazing knees in the clinch. Here's one thing I don't understand, though. Great third round, won that one clearly. Won the first round very clearly, in my opinion, one of the clearest rounds of the fight. Round 2 was close. I guess you can give that to Guida. He rocked Madsen in that round as well. Either way, Olympic grappler, Greco-Roman, Olympian, silver medalist. Where's your takedowns, dude? None of them were shot in this fight. What? He shot one and it was like a fake for an uppercut. He's calling out Gregor Gillespie, a guy who, to see who has the best grappling at lightweight. You didn't even shoot. You didn't shoot. Like, I don't get it. He just, I did all that work in the Olympics on Greco-Roman wrestling so I can just jab from the outside with Clay Guida. It made no sense to me, but I guess he didn't gas out and had a good third round with a decent pace. Good scrap. Clay Guida lost. I thought so as well. Mark Madsen wins this one, rounds 1 and 3, or even round 2. I can give round 2 to Guida, though. Rounds 1 and 3 are Mark Madsen's round, in my opinion. Moving on, up the card, good win by Mark Madsen. Moving on to Jared Cannonier versus Kelvin Gastelum. I picked Jared Cannonier by TKO in the second round. Almost got it in the third, but Gastelum pops right back up. He's got an amazing chin. Very, very close fight. I actually gave another glance at the 5th round. Man, it can really go either way. I get Cannonier winning. I think he did win 3 rounds to 2. But I can see an argument for Kelvin based on that takedown in the 5th round. He was only down by 1 significant strike. It was a razor close fight, in my opinion, man. Really, really close fight. But yeah, good stuff. Gastelum, apparently, according to all of the judges, won round 5. I'm getting annoyed now because I've just seen that comment on one of my videos. According to all judges, Gastelum won the 2nd and 5th round and Cannonier the 1st. I thought Kelvin won the 1st and I thought Cannonier might have won the 5th. Close fight. I gave Kelvin the first 2. I gave Cannonier the second 2, as in round 3 and 4. And then round 5, I could see either way. All the judges gave it to Kelvin. I thought Cannonier could have won that 5th, but I don't mind Kelvin winning the 5th. It was a razor close fight, man. A razor close fight. But if anyone was going to win, Cannonier got closer to winning more rounds than Kelvin did. There was more clear rounds to Cannonier than there was for Kelvin. Round 2 was clear for Kelvin, but Cannonier dropped him in round 3. Had a pretty clear round 4 when he slumped him with that uppercut as well. Good win from Cannonier. I think the next for him is the winner of Till versus Brunson for a title shot. And then hopefully Gastelum can stay in the UFC, get another matchup, maybe a rematch with Uriah Hall next year, open us up with a good one in February, in March, most likely February. Uriah Hall versus Kelvin Gastelum 2. Sounds good to me, because I know he's not going to move down to welterweight, no matter how many times us fans beg him to do so. He will not put down the tacos. He will stay at middleweight. He will even fail to make weight at middleweight as well. He's a fat disgrace. I love Kelvin, though. I felt so bad for him. Had a great scrap. So close to winning. Just a little bit more in round 1, I guess. I don't get that, but a little bit more in round 1. He would have won that round, I guess. I thought he did win round 1. But, good fight, close fight. Not going to argue with a decision. Cannonier landed more total strikes whenever they were in the clinch against the cage. He was winning the damage in that way. So Cannonier fought a very smart fight, very good performance. Good win from Cannonier. Not a title shot next, but a good matchup for sure against hopefully the winner of Till versus Brunson. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Click that button up there. Great card overall though. Performance bonuses. If I had to give, you know what they might do? This would be bad because Parker Porter versus Chase Sherman deserves a Fight of the Night bonus. So I'll accommodate for both. Fight of the Night Parker Porter, if they're going to do things normally. Fight of the Night Parker Porter versus Chase Sherman. Performance of the Night, I would say, gotta go Ignacio Bahamondes. I'd also maybe throw in Josiane Nunes. Got a sick KO. One punch KO in the women's bantamweight division. Doesn't happen often. William Knight is in that mix as well. Yeah, I don't know what they're going to go with here. You know what they might end up doing? They might end up giving 4 Performance of the Night bonuses, which I think they probably will do. And they probably are going to give them to William Knight, Josiane Nunes, Ignacio Bahamondes, and then also chuck in a performance bonus for either the guy that finished Trevin Jones in the 3rd or Pantoja because it builds the hype for his next fight, and he got a rear naked choke win against Royval, and it was a great performance. I think they might give it to either of those two on the main card, but the prelims were way better, but the main card was good as well. Great card overall, really fun, got a little bit slow towards the end, but some great scraps throughout the card, up and down it. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Click that button up there. Toodle pip. I'll see you later. Goodbye.